That's one way to go about it. Okay, so O2 Blast, though. Right out of the gates, not surprising to see them on the 3-3. And Gen.G, again, have to be looking for those alternate win conditions. I think here is definitely the way to go, and that's going to be in the form of the Mei. We saw that last week as well. It worked out very well from Free, and Wuyao is going to be doing just the same. Hopefully have the same performance for him as well.
Wuyao on the Mei. They take server side, channeling those walls, see if they can separate the members of O2 Blast. That first wall going through now. O2 Blast getting around it right in the face of Wuyao and freezing him over. He actually gets perfect protection, 1-to-1, except O2 Blast lost their main shield. So now trying to stall as much as they can. Still a 5 versus 5 winnable for either team.
Definitely on both sides, but O2 Blast have to be careful until Villain gets back. Oberon taking some fire already, and it looks like O2 Blast, despite the fact that they didn't have their main tank for most of that fight, they are going to come out ahead this time around and getting away from the obstruction that is in the form of that Mei wall consistently being a problem. We all very close to the Blizzard for the next fight.
And you would rather have this Mei for the defense, so them having to engage with this might be a little bit trickier, but you can see O2 Blast, they see another route that's coming in, Gen.G through the side. A wall that wasn't necessarily engaged on, they might have separated a player from O2 Blast. You see they're chasing after Arrow, and O2 Blast now have a shatter at the ready, and Gen.G getting ready with their Blizzard.
Just looking for an opportunity to drop it down, but they have to be careful. There is a D.Va in play, could completely gobble that thing up, so biding their time. Gen.G losing out on score just to get a proper setup. The most horrible thing that could happen here is if they don't win this fight now.
Or they get grabbed by Proper. You don't have a D.Va to gobble that up. As you said, Oberon uses the Shatter to counter that. And the Transcendence from Dance, keeping his team alive for the moment. Blizzard drops from Wuyao. This is a lot of ultimates coming out of Gen.G. The only one missing is Stalker's Grab, and there you have it. Almost every ultimate on the board except Fuse's Barrier. And now the kills start rolling in for Gen.G, and they will get that flip, but giving up, 60-something% to O2 Blast.
Yeah, 65% finally gonna be the flip, and Wuyao 30% towards the Blizzard. Not close enough, especially given the fact that Proper is ahead at the moment in terms of Graviton charge, and O2 Blast could certainly set in the pace here coming in, but they have to be careful because that wall is definitely gonna come into play here for Wuyao. Now that they have control over this point, they're definitely looking to set up and isolate someone like Villain away from the rest of the team, take that early kill, and start building up the rest of their ultimates behind it.
They're not even trying to push the choke. That would be a perfect point, as you said, to separate the players with that Mei wall. So giving up that position already. Oh, he separates Villainy from the rest of the team, but thankfully they're able to go around it. So Wuyao's walls not coming into effect. There's a Shatter. It catches at least one that's Proper down the barrier from Rain to keep him alive. O2 Blast looking for the flip, and it's going to be Grab versus Grab coming up, where Stalker's going to be slightly ahead of his, and they need to keep him alive at the most. He's going to have the most amount of energy and DPS. See, it is 100 lasering down O2 Blast, who now throws their grab first from Proper. Gen.G, they keep stabilized with Dance's Transcendence, a Blizzard as the backup plan freezes Proper, and a few more as Gen.G will hold on to the point.
Initially, not the setup they were looking for. I mean, you definitely want to put your wall in a position where they can't actually just rotate around it, and that's what happened when you did put it up in that white room, but maybe they can get something better here. Luckily, they were able to build into their ultimates and win the fight through sheer strength of Blizzard, it seemed. But O2 Blast coming into this fight with a different selection. Joy actually coming through instead of the Zenyatta. They're bringing the Ana into play.
And this might be important to have the Nano give Villainy a bit of an edge against Oberon. It's going to be Shatter versus Shatter, though, and maybe even some antis if you go on server side, maybe get that high ground advantage to land that Shatter. Oh my goodness, get so many from O2 down, not wanting to be over-aggressive as Oberon got about to half health. He doesn't want to sacrifice his life. 99% to Gen.G, working on the last when they need to take control center. O2 Blast, they had Villainy drop early after that stun. Gen.G looking to take advantage. They freeze Proper, and that'll be the next on the kill list. Gen.G working this Mei so well, cleaning up the rest of O2 Blast. One last hurrah self-destruct will end control center 100-65 for Gen.G.
All comes down to establishing win conditions early. Gen.G, we're yet to see how they go up against O2 Blast in the 3-3, and I think it'll be, probably more present if we go onto a map like Night Market, but we even saw an adaptation being made where, you know, O2 Blast decided, hey, we're not getting this done correctly, you know, with the Mei in play, so we need to switch something up. So you go to the Ana, that's a different wind condition for you to play off of there. You can actually get some picks that way and shut down Gen.G. It didn't work out for them there, but O2 Blast here have another shot where they're going to be able to finally actually go ahead with that 3-3 head-on collision on the point here on Night Market, again, as expected between these two teams.
Right out the gates, what you've expected. Bit of a quick one to Villainy in the middle of the map, but look at this interesting rotation. Gen.G go right towards the point.
Yeah, they're going to take it right there, and they're going to go right to the doorway. I think ideally, if they can get Oberon over there, and it looks like that is going to be the case, but he is kind of forced back a little bit. O2 Blast have enough pressure where he can't hold that doorway the way they actually kind of want to.
So they've gotten the shield of Auburn really low, so they find the opportunity to engage, but Villainy got completely surrounded. No main shield for O2 Blast, and a few of their players are low. Somehow the boop, Rain booped off Auberon, so now you're in a 5 versus 4 situation and trying to equalize this. The first cap goes through for Gen.G, but are they able to hold on to it?
Oh, O2 Blast behind Proper. They might be getting this done, and Proper with a massive amount of energy is going to be able to translate that over to ultimate charge and a bunch of kills for O2 Blast. And that is a huge, huge advantage for O2 Blast now. They get the flip, and they're pretty close to ultimates. Unfortunately, they lose that with Dance getting the pick.
Oh, that's big, and now you got a shatter coming down and a self-destruct. Transcendence barrier from the other side. Both teams trying to sustain. See if this grab is explosive, and it is Krong triple kill for O2 Blast, cleaning up the rest of Gen.G from the floor, and they keep the point.
Krong has just been so effective at isolating targets this season, you know, creating plays on his own with those aggressive self-destructs, whether it be, you know, through a setup or creating a setup. He has just been so effective with the self-destruct, and then just another opportunity to show that off here. O2 Blast now with the lead. Unfortunately, Gen.G coming back, though, with a lot in tow. They have that set up as well. Graviton coming in from Stalker.
Graviton, no self-destruct, can't have the big bang like Krong did. They had used it to zone out the point without much success. Now the grab thrown from Stalker, see if Oberon can hammer enough damage in, but not to be the case. The shatter from Villainy is humongous, but double, or actually only the barrier from Fuse is used to support Gen.G. Point, actually another nice shatter from Oberon, gets a few down from O2 as they engage, they divide and conquer, and take back the point.
Arrow going down with the charge there. Oberon, big play so far. Even, you know, going back over to Control Center, even with the Mei in play, Oberon was getting a lot of value out of his Earth Shatters, and that's continuing here on Night Market, where he's still finding targets to drop down, and that gives them a big advantage in some of these fights that O2 Blast haven't really found as much of through Villain.
You're gonna see Proper leading the charge with the grab. Still, now that there's a diva in play, you can't just be too crazy about this, and he wants to build up his energy, ideally a little bit more than that. You can see maybe the start of these fights might take a little while. Proper wants to get that energy up and get his team ready to go through these doorways ideally. Proper gets ready to set up the grab. He gets stunned critically low to 50 HP before the rest of his team saves him. Now they have Krong self-destruct. They would be able to combo this, but if they wait too long, Stalker now has his own grab. They have their own combo. It's the grab and self-destruct from Gen.G, the counter grab from Proper, support ultimates from both sides. Who is there to survive? And it's only Krong that drops after that wave of ultimates. Now, can Gen.G hold on to this? O2 Blast, now that they've lost one, they seem to want to wait this out.
Yeah, they know that if they go in ahead and engage this, they utilize a Transcendence. They're just wasting time. They don't want to give up what could be their last fight. So it's better to just wait for Krong, pull him back into this fight, have your Diva, have your Defense Matrix available.
Oh, Villainy dies so early, they needed him to engage. Now the Transcendence from Joy does keep the rest of his team up, but they can't just break through the doorway with a Rhine. Now they've actually booped some players out of position. Now lasering them away is Stalker, who throws out the grab for extra measure. Bit of a 360 celebration spin for Muyal. 96+%. O2 Blast have their Lucio to touch, but is it enough time really for anybody else to get back? The answer is probably no, as Gen.G will take Lijiang Tower over O2 Blast 2-0.
And remember, going into this, the expectation was that O2 Blast was going to do well in this series, but Gen.G, really solid performance from them on Lijiang Tower. And honestly, I think this is probably going to be a matchup that's going to be a lot closer than people's expectations. And, you know, this is going to be a great tiebreaker to determine who's going to wind up coming ahead in this 4th place setup, who's actually going to take 4th from their opponent.
Some great replays. I enjoyed to see the Krong proper combo that actually went through, but it was Gen.G who were laying their support ultimates to out-survive, and it seemed like these initial picks, it was so back and forth between the two, even had some cool Lucio boops, but we will head into our map number 2 to see if O2 Blast can even up the score. We'll be right back. Well, Gen.G strikes first blood as they take Lijiang Tower over O2 Blast. Both these teams are tied in the standings 2-1, but we'll see if O2 Blast can even up the score on Eichenwald coming up for our map number 2.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one here. I mean, you know, you look back, Gen.G did not have a great performance on this map, whereas O2 Blast actually did pretty well versus GC Busan Wave. They took that one. They did play goats throughout, but they did, at the very end, actually throw proper out on the Doomfist on their attack to close that series out. So I'm interested to see if O2 Blast actually do want to throw some kind of curveball late into the game. We've seen a couple of teams on Eichenwald actually bring out, you know, things like Hanzo's to close out third points and stuff like that as well.
So you're curious about that, and we were curious about Gen.G. Were they going to run DPS, where we saw Wuyall did bring out the Mayon Control Center, sticking to goats. As you can see, Eichenwald will be map number 2. So will Gen.G try anything like a Pharah? You know, I think we saw, what was it, Wekid, who usually plays a Pharah for them, but they seem to be playing it safe with the goats so far.
Yeah, interestingly enough, actually, Stalker and Wiki can play the far right. I mean, you go go back to the Eichenwald map that they played in week 1, and yeah, it was Wikid, but we have seen Stalker actually move over to that a couple of times as well, depending on how they want to go about their attack here up first. I would imagine that if they do go for that dive setup with the Sombra, the Pharah, they're going to obviously prefer to have Stalker on the Sombra as opposed to the Pharah because that opens things up for Wikid. I do think that you're right. I do think Gen.G actually goes probably more towards the 3-3 or variations thereof with incorporating the Sombra, incorporating those alternative win conditions that we've seen from them.
So let's take a look at this defense though. O2 Blast on the defense have. Is Arrow going back to spawn? I thought I saw someone back there. Yeah, he's back to the Brig. Which totally possible to sacrifice the Brig for the Ana, especially if you're expecting a ghost. The Brig is especially important to have at least some stun potential and open up these opportunities for the Shatter or anything else.
Yeah, and the only reason why I think it would be safe for Arrow to actually go for the Ana is when you do actually hold the Ana on a high ground position, or if you really want to be able to insulate the Ana, that does offer you, that alternative win condition that they were looking for on Control Center. And they just missed out on a little bit when they had Joy swap over. But, you obviously still can keep the Zenyatta, the Transcendence, that way to compete against the Zarya. So, Gen.G, they're swapping, it looks like, to that dive setup that we saw in week 1 versus MVP space. And it, of course, is going to be Stalker on the Sombra, Wikid over on the Pharah.
And that's good. You're going to have Stalker, who's going to be able to get a lot of information to the backline. This might be a little bit more limited on an attack, such as on Eichenwald. You don't have as much visual information where the defense is set up, so Stalker can provide that, along with Wekid, who's already gotten free space into the air. And combining the EMP and Barrage is another possibility that he might go towards. Oberon, though, oh, he got stunned and immediately dealt with really great focus fire from O2 off the start.
The other issue here with Gen.G's composition, we saw this on a control map earlier from them, is that, you can win the poke battles. You can see them taking advantage of that too, because there's no Moira in play. I would expect Joy to want to swap to a Moira if he does get back quickly. And here they're going to, because they don't have the Lucio, Gen.G doesn't have as much peel as well. And Dance could be a vulnerable target for them to jump onto.
Absolutely. Free tick, make it a second one. O2 Blast are actually stuck in this very tiny tower, and a Barrage almost at the way here for Wikid. And you can see O2 Blast is trying to stay out of line of sight. They get a hack onto proper. Krong chases after the Pharah, and O2 Blast might just have a stand here.
Yeah, we're going to see Stalker probably try to go for the EMP, and does indeed, and will catch most of O2 Blast, but they're still hanging in there for now.
For now, maybe just a bit of a stall cleanup time. The solo rally, actually, he's got some teammates behind him, hiding in the wall. There's a barrage from above from Wikid and cleaned up by Dance. Gen.G now will get the point, and this was quite an effective 2-2-2 setup from them.
Yeah, everything works out pretty well for them. They also have a pretty decent time to kind of work off of, as well as they do make those swaps. Keep Stalker over onto the Sombra. That's, again, actually going to go to the Zarya, as they already have Wuyao on the D.Va, so they're going to swap over completely, as we do see O2 Blast dropping down.
Yeah, maybe a little bit tough to get through that archway, but unlimited ceilings, they know they might need the grab to get through some of the tougher parts as O2 Blast engage with proper high energy, and also Joy's Transcendence to just give them extra survivability during that.
And we will see them collecting their free ult charge as well, right? I mean, Proper is holding on to the Graviton already, but certainly they want to get aggressive here, utilize this Graviton so that they can catch someone out and then build to the next one once they get that energy level back up on Proper.
And he's going to have a grab in the self-destruct from Krong at the ready. Gen.G could counter Shatter. They're going to use it right now to create opportunity. Mostly blocked as O2 Blast. They use the grab. Self-destruct at the ready here from Krong, and not wanting to use it as Gen.G taking over the kill feed. As you can see, they'll advance the payload to about the bridge side.
And we will see Wuyao going forward. We should be able to catch these supports late. And that's a big thing here for Gen.G to take advantage of, because they're going to get that free cart progress now, because they have to wait on, because O2 Blast has to wait on Joy to come back from that respawn. Luckily for them, though, they do have both support ults coming up. O2 Blast can get through that choke and actually contest this point now.
Getting through the end here, O2 Blast have one last chance to contest before B. Shatter at the ready from Villainy. You can see he's going to be, you can use the cart as cover, see if you can catch the other Rhine and play these mind games. Stalker will have the grab, so really who's going to be pulling the trigger first? OT Blast have both support ultimates ready if Stalker were to throw out the grab, and he does. Joy uses the Transcendence counter shatter from Villainy, catches a few. Oberon now uses his, and it's complete chaos on the payload. It's a self-destruct, and a bunch of ultimates more come out, but Gen.G coming out in the kill feed will get closer to point B.
And it looks like we do have a quick technical difficulty break that we do have to jump to. We'll be right back with the action.
Welcome back, everybody. Right into the action. We apologize for that. Gen.G at the end of their attack. 3 minutes left. Stalker throws out the grab, but the Transcendence and Barrier from O2 Blast both used to counter that one. Now they throw out their own grab from Proper, who dies immediately with it, and the counter shatter from Oberon catches Villainy. So it's really great reaction time from Gen.G, as an interesting self-destruct from Krog, possibly not needed, but to just stall out the payload as much as they can. Gen.G meters less than a meter away will finish with plenty of time to spare.
Great transition as well from that first point attack. I mean, you look at the way that they utilized that dive composition, then instant transition. Yeah, O2 Blast had momentum, or rather they were up in economy because of the 4 swaps that Gen.G had. So you do lose that first fight pretty much for free, but able to close things out, and Gen.G in a lot of control here. Look at the plays from Oberon again, landing these incredibly vital shatters throughout this set.
Yeah, the fact he got that down and to catch Villainy was big, because O2 Blast used both their support ultimates. So if they would have won that fight, that would have been a little sketchy. 2 minutes and 38 though for Gen.G's attack. Pretty successful if you think about how quick the point cap was. They got 2 free ticks, and it was Weki's Far with Stalker's Sombra that kind of just completely surrounded O2, who had a valiant effort of contesting, but it seemed a pretty easy run for Gen.G so far.
Yeah, great time. I mean, this is definitely Gen.G. Again, we mentioned before that they were on an upswing, but I'm not sure if anybody expected them to be on this much of an upswing, especially with Oberon having this level of performance. I honestly think this is probably the best that we've seen from him, really enabling the rest of his team to come out ahead in these fights. And when you have Reinhardt landing these shatters in these tiny little windows of opportunity, whether it be on a 3/4 second drop shield time, or you just have that slight couple inches exposed by Villain to get the rest of the people behind him, that really opens things up for players like your Zarya or your Zenyatta to build up ult charge in the fight, because they're landing hits onto targets that are exposed and on the floor.
Absolutely, and Stalker and Weki not going for their DPS, which you might expect on the defense. A lot of line of sight you can stay out of, but they know that they might want to just try and out-survive with the triple support. They know how important the D.Va and the Zarya are with the combo and whatever else, but O2 Blast do actually make it out towards the left side. They lose Joy, who's a little bit farther behind than the rest, and now O2 Blast have been surrounded by Gen.G, who are forcibly pushing them towards the point.
And Gen.G cleaning things up for now, and you can see the way that they're actually isolating targets as well. O2 Blast got separated just completely, multiple people just all over the place, but O2 Blast are going to have to get back front to their spawn, go ahead and come back for round 2. 50 seconds already off the clock, and Gen.G, of course, they did win that fight pretty cleanly, but due to the fact that O2 Blast got a few of those guys out and they were kind of trading, they didn't come out too far ahead in terms of ult charge just yet.
Yeah, Zenyatta, the Joy has to play so close to the rest, and you can see Rain was up top trying to dislodge Wuyall from the high ground. Whoever else is up there on the high ground, as we're going to be coming up towards ultimates. Oberon did get stunned a little bit. He gets dangerously low, and again, Joy is first to get picked for O2.
Joy falling is such a big advantage for Gen.G, because you know, they're still struggling to get that Transcendence up. So when Gen.G actually gets Stalker online with the Graviton, O2 Blast won't have the natural kind of chain of events that they like to use. Joy popping the Transcendence, Rain backing him up when they need it, you know, to drop the beat. So O2 Blast not having that combo the way that they like it, that could really, you know, be devastating for them in this next fight.
Almost six ultimates online for Gen.G. The first one comes out, and what a charge. Cleaning up Villainy at the start. And look at this, they've won the fight and only had to use the Graviton, and they're going to have 5 more to use in the upcoming one. And so will O2, of course.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that could have gone better for them in that fight is, you know, they clean up a couple more kills so Stalker can continue to build his next Graviton. But O2 Blast, really good shot for them here. They take that L to the chest, but now can move forward and have a really, really good shot at winning this next fight, should they play it correctly, especially if they can combo with Krong.
Yeah, we'll see. Even the Shatter might be your option A. You can see the way that Oberon is playing the line of sight, kind of being a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, using the payload. And they got to be careful. Villainy has got to know he has Shatter because he has it as well. The grab actually thrown. Oberon chose to go for the counter Shatter. Doesn't catch much. Krong is on top of their faces with the self-destruct, but booped away into safety. Responding self-destruct from Wuyao. You can see Gen.G had used both their support ultimates to sustain. O2 Blast still have the Transcendence. This might give them the advantage to take the point if they even need it, because positionally, they pushed Gen.G into a corner, and they've already gotten their second tick.
And they're still holding on to Joy's Transcendence as well. They could utilize that if they need it here.
Probably not even needing to. Villainy is zoning them off with his hammer. You shall not pass. And, oh, well, Gen.G would really like to. They're starting to break through, but not for long. It's really great goats play from O2. They will take the point. A little bit slower from Gen.G, but I think once they did get through that main bridge archway choke point, it was all clear from there.
Yeah, we will see them able to finally get that point, and Proper as well as Stalker both going to have their Gravitons. Gen.G going to have the opportunity to go for some kind of drop engage, but they do want to contest this quickly, so they probably won't be able to jump, you know, right on the heads of O2 Blast, but here they go. Villain already under duress.
Villainy, though, he's holding onto the Shatter, slams it down, it's blocked. Great heads-up play from Oberon. Now you got the grab from Stalker, and not a response from O2 using their own grab to counter grab or counter self-destruct or nothing. They want to hold on to it. They know the next fight is going to be important to use those ultimates for.
Now we'll see O2 Blast. Yeah, I mean, holding those ultimates is key, because that's effectively how they got that first point, right? They took a couple of L's, and they were able to then kind of overpower Gen.G. And that's, I think, how you want to win this next fight as well. Do the same exact thing here.
There's a Proper's grab. It's in a very small area where only maybe a Reinhardt can puncture through. But exactly doing just that is Villainy. O2 Blast chasing off the rest. They were able to hold on to Krong's self-destruct, thankfully, in such close quarters. Able to finish off Gen.G, and they'll advance the cart to about the bridge phase.
I'm loving this matchup between Oberon and Villainy. I mean, between the two, you're seeing such great play. A lot of, you know, kind of openings created by Oberon, but really, I mean, O2 Blast, while Villainy hasn't created as many, you know, successful opportunities through his Shatter, he's been able to execute off of the opportunities created by the rest of his team.
Look at that rotation from Gen.G to the high ground to the low ground. Now they're behind the attacking team. Again, Wuyao is holding on to the self-destruct. This could be used to zone them out over the top, see if it catches them off guard. It is blocked. They retreat towards the low ground to avoid that. And now starting to pressure Gen.G into small areas, especially when Oberon's shield is so low. It's actually kind of confusing to tell who's even attacking and who's defending anymore. Thankfully, O2 get back on the card. They're building towards more ultimates, and Gen.G at least are wasting a lot of time. And there's a barrier from Fuse as soon as the Graviton did come out from Proper, holding on to Dance's Transcendence, but they're losing this fight. I don't think it's worth using that, but they did waste a lot of the attacking team's time.
Fuse is going to be the last one to die, but they're all dying on cart, so they might have an opportunity to actually contest this if they do send Wuyao in through that window early. And if they can do that, that'll be a really, really good play from them to be able to take more and more time off the clock despite losing that fight.
Oh, someone was there at the very end. There's Wuyao, and you get a surprise Shatter from Oberon. Rain uses the barrier to keep them topped up, only for the moment. Self-destruct over the top from Krong. And thankfully, I mean, Oberon was against a wall with a shield. Not much he could do there. Great stall from Gen.G, only for the moment, but it's actually kind of evened up in the score, 4 versus 2, and that payload will get there. Gen.G not dying on the cart. Now they're going to get staggered a little bit.
Yeah, incredible defense. The only thing that could have been better from Gen.G is if they continued to put bodies on the cart and just, make sure that they were exposing O2 Blast a little bit there. But, pulling ultimates out, causing more of a disruptive presence on the defense. Gen.G have been playing this very intelligently so far. Now O2 Blast going to be playing off of the Graviton from Proper in this next fight to get this card around the corner.
Yeah, if they win this fight with Proper's grab, they don't have a ton of energy building towards now. They do laser down too as soon as that grab does come out, and Villaini's going to have a shatter for the upcoming fight to take the final point of Eichenwald, but still look at the time bank difference. It is a minute and a half down. Gen.G would ideally like to stall this to overtime. We'll see what they can do coming back with the self-destruct.
They should have a decent stall. I mean, they have Rally to build into Transcendence. They have Oberon with the ability to drop a Earth Shatter as well.
He's going to be looking towards it. They just want to fortify on this payload, and you can see O2 Blast disengaging a little bit. Villaini's shield was a little low, and also baiting into Shatter versus Shatter. Who can open up the opportunity for the team? 36 seconds left. You don't have another attack to go with this. Shatter from both. Krong with a self-destruct at the ready, and Stalker is waiting with the Graviton. So this is about mind games between the two. Stalker throws out the grab. Krong self-destruct to counter and protect his team, and only Wacky is the first to fall. Dance using the Transcendence to keep Gen.G on this defense topped up. They are getting closer to the overtime. 10 seconds remain, and O2 Blast might not actually finish.
It doesn't look like they will. Gen.G are starting to stampede over O2 Blast.
Amazing! Gen.G just had support ultimates after support ultimates. What a defense from Gen.G to go up 2-0 against O2 Blast.
Yeah, just like that. It feels like we haven't even really been, in this series for all that long, but already Gen.G with a huge, huge lead. And you can see Stalker, we did see basically that Proper Stalker, that combination, that matchup was going to be very, very big, just as big as Oberon versus Villain in this series. But honestly, Stalker has done so well, I think. You can see him just coming out and alongside Oberon, that main tank, creating a lot of opportunities for the rest of his team, and they can build advantages off of that.
And you said exactly right. Stalker getting grabbed before Proper won them that fight. The fact that both Reinhardts shielded each other's shatters, again, that's another winning condition. But we're going to throw it to a quick halftime. We'll see you guys in a bit.